and scream, okay? But the problem I have, I get where Brian's point of view is. They're children, and they're encouraging us and forcing us to put this vaccine on our kid, right?
Are they encouraging or forcing? What make up your... And you can't have both. Which one is it?
I'm vaccinated. But the only problem I have with this is that they're not encouraging the natural medicine. I'm from Haiti, and I believe in herbs, and a lot of these things work as well. So to me, I think they should also encourage, yes, get the vaccine, but taking care of yourself and taking, natural medications is also good. And none of them are doing that. No media. I don't see that anywhere. So there needs to be some kind of medium in terms of, natural sun, zinc, and all that other stuff, although they're not cures, right? But overall, I think it's too soon for a 3-year-old to get a vaccine, in my opinion.
John, I have another comment as well.
Go ahead, William. William has some floor. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, just real quick, guys. Hold on, King. King, hold on for a sec. King, hold on for a second, bro. Jeez. Damn. Listen, real quick, I'm just gonna quarterback it for a little bit, man. What Jonathan takes a break, and I'm gonna do a quick reset. This is the Millions Marathon. So for all of you who haven't been in this room before, they host several rooms every night. So at the top of the phone, just go ahead and hit that house and go ahead and hit that follow button. Because this room always hosts interesting topics created by Jerry, Jonathan, Nelson, Byron, and as you can see, we have heated debates in here, but sometimes we also have educational debates as well. I encourage everybody to do your own research and don't just believe everything you hear out of this room, no matter who it's from. All right, so I'm going to pass it back to you. Who was that was trying to speak?
Yoshi. Reset. That is so me.
Okay, it was about 5 of y'all. I need whoever say your name.
Yeah, Yoshiyahu, William. You can go ahead.
Oh, all right, go ahead, Yoshi.
Oh, I just wanted to touch on something that John just said. I give him the benefit of the doubt that he just said it in a moment of excitement, but the actual number of participants involved in the Pfizer trial was about 3,000 children in that age group, and out of that, about 1,500 actually received the actual vaccine during that trial. So I just wanted to point that out. So I know he said something much more astronomical than that, but I give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, he did say millions, but I give him the benefit of the doubt. He was just excited.
I'm doing my research right now. Go ahead, Yoshi. And if I was wrong, I can say I was wrong because I know that many, there's more than 3,000 children. Dr. Ali Raza, Dr. Ali, Dr. Ali, Dr. Ali Raza, and Dr. Ali.
I still got a question before you, buddy. I have a question for the doctor, the one who was loud. Now, I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to ask you about whether or not you get paid for pushing vaccines for your clients or anything like that. But you did mention studies.
That's rude.
Now, is there any studies that show that children are actually that vaccinated children are healthier than non-vaccinated children?
As for the doctor, I think Dr. Daniel, you still here?
I'm still here. The way that he addressed me, I'm not going to talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Okay.
The question come with some credibility.
I'm talking. For 4 or 5 months, we came to... Let's stop. I'm talking.
Bro, the doctor's talking. You asked him a question. You can't start back as he started talking.
For 4 or 5 months, we came here in this room, doctors. And I think that it was maybe 20 doctors came in this room, different doctors. And we try to give information that we have. We accused of getting paid, which this gentleman just said that. So basically he said that I don't accuse you to do that, but by the way...
He should discredit you before you even have a chance to answer.
No. Wait. So I'm making a 4 or 5 months observation point here. And you guys accused of our getting paid. You guys accused of our being end of our class. You guys are accused of us, we don't know anything. We don't do the research. But I invite I'm not going to answer your question, number one, because the way that you address me. That's number one. I'm going to ask you, right now, I have 11 COVID patients in the hospital. I'm going to ask you, Hudson Regional Hospital in Jersey. Tomorrow, show up to my hospital. I take you to the COVID ICU unit, and you do volunteer work with mask and everything for those COVID patients for 24 hours.
Sign me up.
Live on Clubhouse.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you an honest answer. Like, considering the fact that I have nurses in my family and whatnot, and I have some situation in New York, I honestly, I don't know who that random was, but backseat driver. Honestly, I don't know if, I guess I could do that, to be honest with you, but I don't know if that would be ethical in the medical field. And I don't know about me asking about, I don't know if questioning whether or not a doctor gets finance from pushing vaccines.
You don't know a lot of shit, bro.
Okay, yeah, so here we go again.
No, listen.
Hey, take that.
You just said you don't know before you said three statements.
No, let me make this statement.
Hey, guys, let me just say this for a fact. Doctor, is it a fact? Is it a fact or is it not a fact that doctors are compensated to push certain medications from pharmaceutical companies?
Yeah.
And before you answer no, I have worked at a doctor's office with the ortho man. Doctor, let me tell you my experience. I worked at a doctor's office when I was a kid, and the ortho man.
Yes, you've been a kid, Brian. That's the point.
Doctor, listen to me for a second if you can. The ortho man used to come in and give free birth control pills to all the nurses and say, push this, and then take the doctor out to lunch for 3 hours, and he'd come back, and regardless of what was best for the patient, that doctor would write out prescriptions for ortho.
Were you privy to those conversations?
Brian, Brian, can I ask you just estimate how old are you?
Prohibits that.
I'm 60 years old.
My friend,
Brian,
regardless,
yes.
I'm sorry for the heated debate before if I say something wrong.
I'm not sorry for it.
No.
I have no problem defending myself.
Listen,
and it's
Brian.
okay, and I respect, I respect your profession, but when you start talking about, because you're a doctor, I'm not entitled to an opinion. And when it comes
Brian,
to
having entitled to opinion by spreading some information is different.
I do not spread misinformation. What I'm saying, when it comes to injecting kids, I believe firmly we do not have enough data. I believe when it comes to injecting adults, we do not have enough data. But the adults are free to make their own decision. The children are not. And that's a fact. You can argue all you want. It takes 6 to 8 years to
There is a distinction. I have small
kids.
kids.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
I'm agreeing with you, Brian.
All right. I don't care. I don't care. It takes 6 to 8 years to vet a vaccine. We've not had 6 to 8 years. We don't know the long-term impact of this. But I support, if you want to take a vaccine, if you want to prescribe a vaccine, it's your choice. But it should be my choice to say, hey, wait a second, I'm going to pause. I'm going to wait till I have more information before I make a decision. And I feel that whether it's the CDC, the medical community, they're rushing to push this on 5-year-olds, 11-year-olds, for reasons I have no idea. I've seen some of the studies that show that there's a propensity for heart disease amongst young kids taking the vaccine. I'm not making this up. Nope. I'm not pushing bullshit. This is what I've read. And I may be reading one narrow point. I'll read all points. But when it says that, and I know that my child has a less than a 1/10 of a 1% chance of dying of this, I'm going to say, hey, let's hold off until we have more data. And I think that's a perfectly reasonable and rational response, whether from a doctor or a car salesman.
Brian, hold on.
Dr. Daniel, let me talk.
Dr. Daniel,
no.
Hold on.
One mic on William.
Last word.
One mic on William.
Okay, thank you, Creep. Dr. Daniel, I'm going to give you the last word, and then we are going to pivot from this and move on to another subject. And if you guys want to battle it out, I will gladly sponsor a physical match between you guys. But Dr. Daniel, you will have the last word.
Okay, so regardless
Please don't interrupt.
Yeah, regardless of doctors getting whatever honoraria, whatever expenses covered for medications, in your time, yes, that's true. even up to 15 years ago, when I was in residency in Columbia University, was true. We get in lunches, dinners, and stuff like that. That's true. About 10 years ago, law changed. And per CMS guidelines, you cannot do that. If the doctor is doing that, that's wrong. And if you get accept honoraria, for example, you go to a meeting and you're advocating a medication, you need to, as a disclaimer, I need to say that I am accepting some honoraria or whatever from this company to promote their products. You cannot have the doctor come and have a dinner or lunch and then you can have push a certain medication because of that.
Yeah, they crack down on that a ton.
It still happens. I work in the healthcare building.
No, bring this slack.
One second. Let the doctor finish, guys. He's finished.
You can lose the business license. You can use your professional license if that's
Who's gonna find out?
That's proven. So, actually, we have lots of people actually watching over us. We have it's all over cases. You can search internet and you see the doctors for accepting a handbag. They went to jail. Orthopedic surgeon in New Jersey accepting a handbag for wife and went to jail for it. So do not make assumptions, guys. Everything changes. I mean, I understand when Brian was going as an intern to a doctor sometimes back in 80s or 70s. I don't want to say what time. Even 90s, that was happening. And that's what happened. We are in trouble with OxyContin, if you remember, all this stuff, the Prelude. That was the problem, that they pushing this medication, and that's the shame. That's the shame what happened in Prelude case. And all this
Purdue Pharmacy, guys.
all the mess we are in because of that. And everybody knows about that story. And that's a shame. There's no question about that.
Hey, 1 second, guys.
So, King, would you please not jump in the middle of my words? See, man, dude, I'm seeing you. You're just jumping. Be respectful, man. You're a very respectful man, so let me talk. Regarding the giving the vaccination to children, I sent my kids to vaccination 2 weeks ago. And that's my choice. And I'm pro-choice, like you, Brian. What I say is that it's a specific data. They actually cut the dose of vaccine multiple times until they find the right dose. Lots of people volunteer their kids to do that. And this research done on lots of data. Actually, if you like, is on YouTube, is the FDA Commission lecture and presentation and the vote on approval of this vaccine for kids. That it is 3.5 hours. You can actually watch it on CDC website, watch it on FDA website, and it's very informational. I invite everybody to watch this 3.5 hours YouTube video and a video that is talking about how they vote, how they present data, how they vote, who vote for what. So you need to look at that.
Doctor,
actually, it's very good, informative, and I'm gonna land my plane here. And after I watched that, after I did my research, after I talked to people, after I read the articles, I decided to do the vaccination for my own kid, especially for youngest, who is 5 years old and has a disease that if he catch COVID for any reason, he can die. So actually, I did it for my kid. But you should have a mandatory thing for this? No, I'm pro-choice. I want one more thing. Find one more thing, and the fact is this: if we are going to, for anything that need knowledge, if I want to go and buy something that needs knowledge on that, or if I want to get a service that needs a knowledge of that, we need to listen to person who spent all of his life to study it. So that's what's my point about not to be disrespectful for you work on a car business or somebody else be on another business. My point was that Dr. Kathleen was here as a professional, was giving opinion about the research on the vaccination. You could have, listen, Brian, if you would have stopped and let her talk and finish, and then after that you may express your opinion, I would not jump in. That's was the only reason I came in. That if a professional person is talking, let them talk. Thank you very much for listening and not interrupting me. I appreciate that.
All right, guys, real quick, before anyone jump in. I did put some information out there earlier about the numbers, and I was incorrect, guys. And so there wasn't a million. I confused how many have taken it versus how many.